I just need to have an outlet where I think out loud and try not to filter the things I'm saying because I'm afraid of who might hear it. More so that I just need to talk and that I need to say certain things. I need to enunciate certain things in my head. And tonight I'm comparing my mindset from last year before to this year onward. Last year before meaning 16, 17, 18, 19. And I'll be 20 in 2 months. I think I'm right about where I need to be growing out of 19. All the lessons I've learned thanks to God and making better decisions. I come from a place of a lot of pain and bad memories, a lot of dirt, and I always refer to it as dirt because it's just like, it's things that when I think about or when it's exposed to other people, it just feels dirty. Like I'm like ashamed, like that I had been through that and that these things happened to me, and that this version of me that people love to see, it's like I come from such a bad place. I come from such an ugly place. And I look at how I was growing up. I grew up without proper guidance for life. And the guidance that I truly needed was emotional guidance. Coping mechanisms, emotional regulation, self-esteem is the biggest one for me. Self-esteem is something that I honestly haven't learned until this year. And it has been the biggest mind change for me. And leading up to this year, starting out this year, I had made so many mistakes, irreversible mistakes that I had to live with. The environment that I was in and the environment that I created for myself brought the worst out of me. I did things that I never thought I would do, and in the moment, I couldn't even recognize how crazy they were or how not normal the things I was doing was because of my examples growing up and because of my anxiety thinking, no, but I need to do this to fix this. It was a lot of me accepting also people hurting me, a lot of me also begging for love in a way that I needed to give to myself. And I had no self-respect and no self-esteem. And it allowed me to do these, make these bad decisions. No matter what I do to my self-esteem, I will never fully heal from those mistakes because of how damaging it was to myself. It's definitely a scar. It's definitely visible on my heart that I stooped so low in some situations where I just stooped so low because I didn't know how to cope with the sheer amount of pain. And so, you walk through life and you look back on yourself and you wish that you could help that person. And then you struggle with how the people at that time will end up looking at you because that mistake in their mind, because they were there, defines you. They can think whatever they want because at the end of the day, I choose to be who I am now. And I like the person I am now. And that's exactly what I'm talking about here. That's exactly my point of what I want to talk about. There's an environment that you're in that brings the worst out of you, and the environment that you create for yourself. And this is an organized thought that I really want to convey. The environment I was in, one, was unloving, didn't cherish me, didn't appreciate me, took advantage of me, tore me down, didn't protect me emotionally, spiritually. It was my situation, it was my life, it was what I was born into. And being so young, being 16 and thinking I had my life set up with a certain person and a certain career and thinking I knew exactly what I wanted for my life. I know where my life is headed. And I had that was the sense of security that I had. And anything else that corroborated that sent me, because I was hoping in this person, this career. Without context, this sounds confusing, but it was all unhealthy. It was me. But how could I have known, right? How could I have known? I couldn't have. I didn't have the experience, the wisdom, the knowledge, and I wasn't seeking it because everything seemed to be just right. Breaking out of that environment was a lot of work. It was a hell of a lot of work because even when I left the environment didn't leave me. And that's where that creating a safe environment for yourself comes in. I had all the same thinking habits, bad habits, because my self-esteem was so low, because I had been disrespected so much, and I disrespected myself so much, my own dignity so much in my life, out of desperation. I really did have to fall apart before I was able to rebuild myself. But there was a pivotal moment where I decided no more mistakes, no more bad decisions. And somebody, which is actually ironically the person that I fought tooth and nail to get to leave, because there was no way I was ever gonna leave that person, told me, look at the bigger picture and do a little bit of good every day, because consistency is key. That was so grounding. I'm gonna cry. That was so grounding for me. And it's what I told myself every day. And it's what I still tell myself. Because my anxiety caused me to be very fixated on the things that hurt me, that were lacking, that I needed. And so I fought to learn, okay, how do I make better habits? Okay, let me do that. How do I fix the way I think? Let me seek out. And honestly, a lot of it came from, all of this I credit to God and the Bible, because this is where I found all my advice and who I relied heavily on at this point of being pretty much completely on my own. And I did it. I can, I just last night had this moment where I was like, Amber, you did it. You really did it. All these things that you were trying so hard, you don't need to try anymore, because this is who you are now. You don't have to break free from anything. You are free. And that was such a moment for me. Anyways, I'm losing my thought. Let me get back to it. I started to build that environment that was safe for me. It took me a long time, and it's something I'm still working on. There are certain patterns of thinking that I'm still working on breaking. But I've really learned to slow down, to let myself think. Boundaries are very important. Not just my boundaries and to stopping, to protect myself from other people, but respecting other people's boundaries and what's normal. Because I couldn't even do that. I couldn't even do that much. There was so much normalcy that I didn't know. I've learned to be calm. That's another thing. I used to be and I really can confidently say this with pride, I used to be so angry and so emotional. I had so much trouble on me, so much burden on my heart, because I was constantly being hurt and I was scared. So I was always in this survival mode, fight or flight. And most of the time it was fight. But now I can say that I'm calm. It's not that I don't get emotional, not that I don't feel pain, but it's on my own time. And it doesn't conflict with my life anymore. Whereas before, it used to control me. I used to let it control my life. And honestly, that is a weak person. A weak person does that. That is a weak, troubled person that lets their pain control them and control how they treat other people. But it really is lack of experience, knowledge, wisdom, and all of the above. I was lacking in so many ways. But in all the ways that I thought I really was lacking, I wasn't. I thought I was a bad person. I thought that I was unlovable. I thought that I was worthless. I thought that I wasn't good enough. None of those things were true. None of them are true. Nobody deserves to feel that way. Whether someone else is making you feel that way or you're making yourself feel that way, at the end of the day, you have to stand up and say, I don't deserve to feel that way. I don't deserve to feel that way. So you create an environment that's safe for yourself. How do you create an environment that's safe for yourself? Well, first of all, stop making bad decisions. That doesn't mean, okay, I have to learn every single bad decision and think, okay, I don't do that. Focusing on the negative is never the way to go. And in my experience, in my small experience, whenever I had focused on what I shouldn't do, it just made me focus on that negative part of me that did all those things. And so when I'm in that situation again, I am not prepared, because I'm just like, I only know what I shouldn't do, but that's only what I've known to do. So I end up doing it again, and that's a cycle. Instead, I started focusing on, okay, what should I do? Okay, in this situation, this person is getting me heated. They're hurting my feelings, or maybe it wasn't even them hurting my feelings. They're triggering me. Okay, what should I do? Don't get emotional. Think about what they're saying, and don't make it mean anything about you. Listen, stay calm. And I've practiced that. Practice that. And another thing I practiced was, not everybody needs to know how you feel. Not everybody needs to hear it. Not everybody cares, and it won't really change anything. All you can really control is yourself at the end of the day, right? And if something makes you feel a certain way, well, that's your choice if you want to give it attention. This is hurting my feelings. Am I going to spend my time letting it hurt my feelings? Or am I going to tell myself, or am I going to think it through and think, oh, that's not really true about me, or it's probably making me feel this way because of something that happened to me, but maybe they didn't even mean it like that, or there's just so many different things. But don't think about who I don't want to be. I don't want to be this person. I don't want to do those things. I shouldn't do that. I shouldn't do this. The next time you're in a situation, this is all you know. This negative is all you know. So you're going to end up doing that. Instead of focusing on the nots, the shouldn'ts, the don'ts, the won'ts, focus on the should, will, can. I'm not a good person. I need to stop being a bad person. I'm a good person. I need to start acting like one. What does a good person do? This is the thinking that changed for me. And I'm saying all of this for the first time. Like, this feels really good to finally get all this work that I've done out enough that I'm able to explain it. That feels really good. But I'm a long way from where I want to be. This is just me learning. But I finally made a foundation for myself that's safe, and I need to get back to that point. Creating a space that's safe for you is making those good decisions, and it's really just a learning process. You really have to learn to unlearn bad coping mechanisms, bad thinking patterns, and trauma. But I can confidently say now, I like who I am. I like who I'm becoming is another way I should say that, because I don't know who I am quite yet. But that in of itself gives me so much confidence and security and peace that nobody can get in the way of. Because I'm okay with myself. And I'm not so okay with myself that it's whatever I do, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with myself in a sense that I know I can always work on doing better. And if in that moment I messed up or something, in a moment I didn't do something that I feel fully aligns with me, it's okay, because I always have tomorrow. Not everything has to be life or death. Not everything has to be so serious, so heavy all the time, so heavy on me. What I am very grateful for is the people who never gave up on me and saw the person in me for who I was and not for the situations I was in, even when I've created them for myself. I'm very grateful for that, because if those people had given up on me, this would have been a much harder journey. And they're still sticking around, and still seeing the best in me with patience and love. And I'm very grateful for those people. I'm very grateful to myself for not only being hard on myself by saying, you suck, you need to do better, but also being loving to myself and being like, but take it slow, take your time, you're learning. And this is just life, and there's so much beauty in life. There's so much beauty even in pain, because of the journey of healing. And you know what? That's exactly what this was. It was a year of healing. And even in this year of healing, I made countless mistakes. Or I say mistakes because I'm being hard on myself. Just bad judgment, really. Because I stopped making such drastically bad decisions. But even when I'm overwhelmed with life or stress or emotion, pain, I still am able to have joy and positivity and just a measure of peace and calmness, because I'm okay. At the end of the day, I'm okay with myself. I'm okay. I like her. I like the things she does because she takes care of herself. She does things that are good for her. She doesn't do things that are bad for her. And she works through anything that might tempt her to do something bad. She works through anything that might be disrespectful to her or to hurt her. She's strong. She's strong because she isn't lazy. She doesn't get complacent with who she is, but she's ever evolving, ever changing. And she's hardworking. And she's always been this. She just had to get in the right environment and the right mindset. It might be a little cringe the way I'm talking about it, but a lot of the time, my coping mechanism throughout this whole journey, to love and take care of yourself as if you were your own child or your own partner. This love that I so badly want to give to a partner. For me personally, I would want to cook for them. I would want to make their bed comfortable. I would want to bathe them. Even I would want to just take absolute care of every single possible need. Spend time with them, listen to them. All these things I want to do for my partner and always make sure that their needs are being met physically is what I need to pour into myself. Do I let myself go to bed without showering? Or do I love myself enough to bathe myself? Do I let myself go without a meal? Or do I love myself enough to feed myself as if I'm my own partner or as if I'm my own daughter? Would I let my daughter go a day without a meal? Would I let my partner go a day without a meal? Someone I love so much? No. Would I let them go a day without expressing love to them? Would I let them go a day without acknowledging them? Would I let them go a day without talking to them, paying attention to them? All of these things I first must do for myself until that time comes, right? Until it becomes fully part of who I am. And that way, when I am blessed or gifted with such things, I am capable of doing those things because I know. This is the unbreaking of the cycle and making better cycles. Especially when I have a daughter or a son, I know what it takes because I do it for myself. And it will become so much easier and natural for me to be a good mother or a good wife. I'm thinking out loud right now because I haven't even thought about this. Like, if anyone knows me, they know that all I want, I'm just going off a tangent now, but all I want is to be a mom and a wife. And if I can't be a mom, I would love to be a wife. I would love to. And then I remember being a wife means I have to have a husband. Just kidding. That's just how I feel right now. My feelings come and go. Good days come and go. Bad days come, but they go. I'm just 19. And I have all this time. It's rich. It's wealth that I get to say these things and feel this way. And if you've never not felt this way, you are so privileged because I had to fight to be here. It was a fight, and it was work for me to finally get right in my heart, in my mind. You're capable. Everything you want is literally in your grasp, so long as you're willing to stay humble and work for it. But you are never complete. You are always improving. There will always be something to improve on. There are always better ways to do things. At the end of the day, be hard on yourself, but be easy on yourself. Be hard on yourself because you can't accept things that aren't meant for you, no matter how much you want to, no matter how much you love them and miss them. You cannot accept things that are not meant for you. So be hard on yourself. Be hard on yourself when you make a bad decision that you knew was going to be bad, or even when you didn't know. But be easy on yourself because you are learning and you are working towards doing better. That's all I have to say. Good night.